The year was 2075, and humanity had walked on the moon many times. Mining companies had turned the dusty surface into a place of work. Machines drilled for rare minerals, robots carried loads, and astronauts checked the sights. But this mission was different. Commander Ryan and his crew of 4 were sent to explore a quiet region on the far side of the moon. It was a place no one visited often. The land was rough, covered with endless craters and shadows. Nothing about it seemed special, until the scanners began to scream. The screen on the rover flashed with colors that no one expected. Buried under the gray dust was something dense, large, and metallic. But the readings made no sense. It was not iron, not steel, not titanium. It was a material unknown to human science. The crew exchanged nervous looks inside their helmets. Their hearts beat faster. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Commander Ryan broke the silence. "Mark the site. We dig." The astronauts set up their equipment. Shovels, drills, and scanning tools cut into the ground. At first, the dust flowed like soft sand. Then the drills struck something hard, something smooth. Lieutenant Alex brushed the dust away with a gloved hand. What appeared beneath, the layer of gray, was not rock. It was black, shiny, perfectly curved like a mirror forged by gods. Alex froze in shock. This is not natural." The others gathered around. The shape extended in all directions, as if they were standing on the roof of something vast. The crew realized the truth slowly. It was a structure. A ship. Hours passed. The astronauts dug more and more. The shape widened, stretching longer than a football field. Smooth panels reflected their lights, flawless and untouched by time. No scratches, no dents, no signs of decay. It was as if the ship had been waiting, hidden under the moon for countless years. Back in mission control, scientists watched the live feed with wide eyes. Voices rose in disbelief. Was this the first true contact with alien technology? Or was it some old relic from a forgotten human experiment? But deep down, everyone knew the answer. No human had ever built something like this. The design was beyond anything Earth understood. Night fell on the moon. Though time meant nothing there, the crew set up floodlights that bathed the buried ship in pale white glow. It looked even stranger in the light. The hull was seamless. No bolts, no doors, no engines, no signs of construction. Just smooth black metal stretching endlessly. "Lieutenant," Maya whispered. "It looks like it was grown, not built." Her words chilled everyone. The crew reported back every detail, but even the top scientists could not explain it. They demanded more digging, more data, more answers. So the astronauts worked through exhaustion, peeling away layers of dust and rock. Slowly, the true form revealed itself. The structure was a starship, long and elegant, shaped like a crescent blade. The curves seemed alive, as if they could move at any second. Then something happened. While brushing away dust from the hull, Alex felt a strange vibration in his glove. At first he thought it was his suit. But when he pressed his hand harder against the surface, the vibration grew stronger. It felt like a heartbeat. He pulled back instantly. His chest tightened with fear. "Commander, I think it's alive." Everyone stared at him in silence. Commander Ryan placed his own hand on the hull. Nothing happened, just cold metal. But when Alex tried again, the hum returned, stronger this time. Lights flickered across the ship's surface, thin glowing lines racing like rivers of fire. The entire hull came alive, pulsing with energy. The crew stumbled back, their helmets reflecting the growing glow. The ship lit up brighter and brighter until the dark lunar crater shone like a star. Floodlights became useless against the alien brilliance. Then came the sound. A low hum, deep and ancient, rising from the ground itself. It was not mechanical. It was like a voice, a warning, or perhaps a greeting. Mission control panicked. Scientists shouted through the radio, telling the crew to retreat. But it was too late. The ship had awakened. Panels shifted on the surface, opening like petals of a flower. Dust exploded into the thin lunar air. Beneath those panels were glowing pathways, each one leading toward a single point, the center of the ship. A circular door began to appear, large enough for a human to walk through. The astronauts stared at it, frozen with fear and wonder. "Commander." Ryan clenched his fists. He knew history was unfolding before their eyes. Humanity had dreamed of alien contact for centuries, and now, standing on the moon, they were facing the first true evidence. Ryan whispered softly, almost to himself, "We just opened something we can't close." The ship's lights pulsed in response, as if it had heard him. The crew backed away, to regroup, but curiosity burned inside them. The door was open. The path was clear. Something inside called to them, not with words, but with feeling. It was like the ship was inviting them in. The astronauts debated fiercely. Was it safe? Was it a trap? Should they wait for orders from Earth? Hours passed, but no clear answer came from mission control. Some said retreat. Some said explore. But the truth was simple. Humanity could not turn away from this. Lieutenant Alex, the one the ship had responded to, stood before the glowing door. He felt a pull in his chest, stronger than fear. He looked back at his commander. "If this ship woke up for us, maybe it wants us inside." The others stared at him. The silence stretched long and heavy. Then Commander Ryan gave a slow nod. "Prepare the suits. We're going in." The astronauts moved closer. Each step felt heavier than the last. The alien glow painted their suits in strange colors. Their reflections warped on the smooth surface of the ship. Time seemed to slow. Their breaths echoed in their helmets. As they crossed the threshold of the alien door, humanity crossed into the unknown. And somewhere deep within the ship, something stirred. Asterisk. The moment the astronauts stepped, inside their world changed. The moon was silent, empty, dead. But the alien ship was alive. The corridor stretched endlessly, glowing with soft blue light. The walls were smooth, like liquid frozen in time, curving in shapes no human architect would ever design. The floor shifted under their boots as if it was adjusting to their weight. Every step they took was echoed by a low hum, as though the ship was breathing with them. Inside mission control on Earth, the silence was heavier than the vacuum of space. Dozens of scientists, engineers, and military officers leaned forward, watching the live feed. Some held their breath, others whispered prayers. Humanity had long dreamed of meeting alien life. But this was not a handshake. This was walking into the heart of a sleeping giant. Lieutenant. Maya stopped and pressed her hand against the wall. Instantly, the surface rippled like water. Her heart jumped, and she pulled back in shock. But the wall returned to its smooth shape, as if nothing had happened. Commander Ryan ordered everyone to stay alert. Every instinct told him this place was dangerous, yet turning back felt impossible. The ship itself seemed to want them inside. As they moved deeper, the path split into multiple corridors, each glowing differently. One red, one green, one golden white. The crew hesitated. Which way should they go? Before anyone could decide, the floor shifted beneath Alex's feet, gently pushing him toward the golden corridor. The others watched in stunned silence. The ship was choosing for them. "Stay together," Ryan said firmly. His voice trembled just enough for the others to notice. They followed Alex, and soon the corridor opened into a vast chamber unlike anything they had ever seen. It was round, wide as a stadium, with walls that rose high into shadow. Floating in the center was something that defied every law of nature: a star map. Millions of glowing dots hovered in the air, swirling slowly, connected by lines of silver. Light. The crew stood frozen. The map was not static. Stars moved, galaxies shifted, planets orbited. It was alive, changing in real time. The astronauts realized the truth. They were looking at the galaxy itself. But not just a map. A warning dot among the stars. Hundreds of red marks burned like fire, moving closer to a single blue dot. Earth. God help us, Maya whispered. Dot on Earth. Chaos erupted. Scientists screamed over one another. Generals demanded answers. Was this enemy real? Were they already coming? The data stream from the ship grew stranger. Every attempt to scan the technology failed. Their best computers could not process the design. It was too advanced, too alien. The engineers studied every angle of the feed. There were no engines, no control systems, no wires, no fuel. Yet the ship was alive, humming, waiting. It had no bridge, no pilot's chair, no sign of crew. And still it responded to Alex like a living thing. This design, one scientist whispered, is impossible. It shouldn't exist. The words spread through mission control like wildfire. Impossible. Unknowable. Beyond human comprehension. Back inside the chamber, Alex moved closer to the floating star map. His glove brushed against one of the glowing lines. Instantly, the chamber came alive. Symbols filled the air, racing across the walls. They twisted, transformed, and then shifted into English letters. The ship was translating itself for them. The message was simple, terrifying, and clear. Enemy approaches. Time short. Defend or perish. The astronauts froze. Their minds spun in disbelief. Who had built this ship? Why was it hidden on the moon? And why, out of all the species in the galaxy, had it chosen humanity? Alex felt a strange warmth in his chest. He could not explain it, but it felt like the ship was speaking directly to him, not in words but in emotions. It trusted him. It had waited for him. The others noticed his distant look. Maya touched his shoulder. Alex, what do you feel? He hesitated. Like it knows me. Like it's alive. And it wants us to fight. Ryan clenched his fists. He hated this. He was a soldier, trained to trust weapons, not ghosts. But deep down, he knew Alex was right. The ship had awakened for humanity. And maybe, just maybe, Earth's survival depended on it. Back home, governments clashed. Some wanted the ship destroyed, fearing it was a trap. Others demanded it be studied, dissected, controlled. Military leaders wanted to weaponize it instantly. But the truth was clear. No one on Earth understood it. Only the astronauts inside could move it forward. Hours turned into days. The crew continued exploring, mapping room after room. The deeper they went, the stranger it became. Some chambers were filled with endless rows of glowing crystals, humming with power. Others contained empty seats shaped for no known species, waiting like thrones for ghosts that would never return. And in every room, the design mocked human science. No engines, no reactors, no fuel. Power flowed like blood through veins, without source or end. Gravity shifted at will. The air was breathable even though no system generated it. The ship was a paradox, a masterpiece beyond imagination. One night, as the crew rested inside their habitat module near the ship, something strange happened. The ground shook. At first they thought it was a lunar quake. But then they saw it. The ship itself was shifting. Panels opened. Towers rose. The entire structure was changing shape, like a living creature stretching after a long sleep. Mission Control panicked, fearing the ship was preparing to attack. But instead, the ship did something even stranger. It aligned itself with Earth, pointing directly toward the blue planet hanging in the black sky. The meaning was clear. The ship had chosen its purpose. It was no longer sleeping. It was waiting for humanity to command it. And as the crew stood in awe, Alex felt the voice again, deeper this time, resonating in his bones. You are not ready, but you must become ready. The enemy is near. The impossible design was no accident. It was a gift, a weapon, a test. And the clock was already ticking. Asterisk. The alien ship stood silent on the moon's far side, yet the whole world felt its presence. News spread like wildfire. Every channel, every newspaper, every broadcast showed the images. A crescent-shaped ship glowing under the lunar sky, alive and waiting. For the first time in history, humanity stood united, but not in celebration. In fear. Governments argued. Scientists debated. Soldiers prepared. Some believed the ship was humanity's salvation, others feared it was a trap left behind by ancient enemies. But no matter the doubts, the truth remained. The ship had already awakened, and it had chosen to respond to humans. No one could undo that. Inside mission control, tension grew heavier each hour. The live feed from the moon showed the astronauts exploring deeper and deeper. The ship continued to adapt, shifting walls, opening pathways, revealing strange chambers. Every room held wonders that broke human logic. But it was the star map that haunted everyone. Red markers glowing like burning embers, moving closer to Earth with every passing day. One evening, Commander Ryan sat in silence inside the habitat module, staring at the glowing outline of the alien ship through the window. His crew ate quietly, exhaustion written on their faces. Finally, Ryan spoke. "We don't have the luxury of fear. That map, it means something is coming. If we wait for Earth to decide, it'll be too late." Maya looked up sharply. "Are you suggesting we take control?" Ryan nodded. His eyes were hard. Humanity must make a step. Bold. Dangerous. But necessary. The crew knew what he meant. They had been inside the ship long enough to feel it, like a heartbeat under their feet, like whispers in their minds. The ship was not passive. It wanted to move. And it wanted humans to be the ones to guide it. Alex felt it strongest. The strange bond between him and the ship grew each day. When he touched the walls, they responded. When he walked, the corridors shifted to follow him. The others began to look at him differently, as though he was no longer just an astronaut. He was something more. The ship had chosen him. Back on Earth, scientists struggled. Every attempt to decode the ship's material ended in failure. Their strongest lasers could not cut a piece. Their most powerful computers could not map its systems. The design was beyond understanding, but the message remained clear. Defend, survive, rise. Finally, a decision came. After weeks of arguments, the World Council gave the order. The astronauts were to attempt activation. Humanity could not afford to wait for permission from the stars. The red markers on the map grew closer each day. The crew prepared with trembling hands. They carried no manuals, no training, no knowledge of alien technology, only instinct, courage, and the bond between Alex and the ship. They returned to the glowing chamber, where the star map shifted above their heads like a living sky. Alex stepped forward. His heart pounded. The ship pulsed with light, brighter with every step he took. He placed his gloved hand on the center console that had risen from the floor, a shape that looked half like a seat, half like a throne. The surface rippled, and suddenly his entire body froze. Images flooded his mind. Stars collapsing. Planets burning. Ships the size of cities tearing through galaxies. The enemy, the red markers, were not just raiders or invaders. They were destroyers, ancient and ruthless. Civilizations far older than humanity had fought them, and all had fallen. Only fragments of resistance remained, scattered like ashes across the stars. And this ship, hidden on the moon, was one of those fragments. Alex gasped and pulled back, but the ship would not let go. Its voice thundered inside his head, not with words but with command. Rise. Fight. Lead. The others watched in fear as Alex's body glowed faintly with the same light as the ship. His voice trembled as he spoke. "It's showing me everything. This ship is not just a weapon, it's a legacy, left behind for the next race strong enough to take it. That's us, humanity," Maya whispered. "And if we fail?" Alex's eyes darkened. "Then we join the ashes." The chamber shook. The floor vibrated. Outside, the moon's surface trembled as the ship responded to Alex's bond. Dust rose into the airless sky. Panels shifted, towers rose, and the entire ship began to change shape again. This time not to open doors, but to prepare for flight. Mission control erupted in chaos. Generals shouted orders, scientists screamed to stop, but nothing could stop it. The ship was alive, and it had decided. The astronauts scrambled to secure themselves as the walls formed around them. Seats rose from the ground, molding perfectly to their bodies. Controls appeared, glowing with alien symbols that instantly translated into English. It was as if the ship had been waiting, reshaping itself for human hands. Commander Ryan gripped the console. So this is it. We're about to fly an alien warship with no training. God help us. The ship's engines, or whatever force it used instead of engines, came alive. A hum, deep as thunder, filled the chamber. The ground outside cracked as the ship lifted gently, almost weightless. The moon's dust swirled in great storms around it. Slowly, impossibly, the alien vessel rose into the black sky. From Earth, millions watched live as the crescent-shaped megaship broke free from its ancient tomb. For centuries, humanity had stared at the moon as a silent companion. Now, it carried a secret weapon. As the ship hovered above the lunar surface, Alex's voice came soft but firm, almost carried by the ship itself. We're no longer alone, and we're no longer helpless. This is our bold step into the galaxy. Your steer burned brighter on the map. The red markers moved closer still. The war had not yet begun, but humanity had already chosen its side. The ship's voice echoed one last time, felt by every human watching across Earth. Defend, survive, rise. And with that, the alien megaship turned its gaze toward the stars. The alien ship floated above the moon, glowing like a second sun. On Earth, billions stared in awe and fear, unable to look away. For the first time in history, humanity controlled something not made by human hands. A ship older than empires, stronger than any weapon they had ever imagined. But no one truly understood what it was. Not yet. Inside the ship, the astronauts sat in silence. The seats had molded to their bodies perfectly, as if built for them. The controls glowed with shifting symbols, alive with meaning that rewrote itself in English. The hum of energy was constant, like a heartbeat filling the chamber. It was both terrifying and comforting. Alex felt the pull again. The ship spoke to him, not with words but with images, emotions, and visions. He closed his eyes and his mind filled with stars. Entire galaxies moved before him, flowing like rivers of light. He saw ancient battles, civilizations burning, fleets falling in silence. Then came the enemy, the red markers. They swept across the galaxy like fire through dry grass, leaving only ash behind. But this time, Alex saw more. The ship revealed a memory, a race older than humanity, tall and radiant, once stood where humanity stood now. They built ships like this one, living machines forged to fight the red destroyers. They fought with courage, but in the end, even they fell. Before their end, they left behind fragments, ships hidden across the stars, waiting for the next species, strong enough to rise. The message was simple. The fight is endless. Take our place, or perish. Alex gasped and opened his eyes. His breathing came fast. Sweat beaded on his forehead inside the helmet. The others stared at him, waiting. Maya touched his arm gently. What did it show you? He looked at her with haunted eyes. This isn't just a ship. It's a message, a warning, and a torch passed to us. We've been chosen, whether we're ready or not. Ryan frowned. Chosen by who? Ghosts? Machines? Alex, we don't even know if we can control this thing without killing ourselves. Alex's voice hardened. We don't have a choice. The enemy is already moving. This ship is our only chance. The chamber suddenly shifted. The walls rippled, and new panels opened, glowing brighter than before. Streams of light poured down like waterfalls, forming shapes in the air. Images filled the chamber. At first they looked like maps, but then they transformed into something far stranger. The astronauts watched in stunned silence. It was Earth, green, blue, alive. Then the image shifted to fleets of ships in orbit, alien destroyers tearing through defenses. Cities burned, skies fell, billions screamed in silence. Then the vision shifted again. This time, Earth stood armed with the alien ship at its heart. The red fleets broke against its power like waves crashing against a mountain. Earth survived. Humanity endured. The message was clear. The future had two paths, destruction or survival. And the key rested inside this ship. Maya whispered, her voice trembling. It's showing us what will happen if we fail. Ryan clenched his fists, his soldier's heart burning with anger. Then failure is not an option. Back on Earth, mission control erupted as the ship transmitted the same images directly into human systems. Screens across the globe displayed the warning, enemy approaches, prepare. There was no hiding it now. Every person on Earth saw the truth. Panic spread, but so did determination. For the first time in history, there was no more doubt. Aliens existed, enemies were coming, and humanity had to fight. But the message carried something else, hidden deeper. Scientists scanning the transmission found layers of encrypted data. Beneath the warnings, there was a map. A trail of coordinates stretching far into the galaxy. Other ships, other legacies. If humanity could survive long enough, they might find more. They might not be alone in this fight. Inside the ship, Alex felt the weight of it all pressing down on him. He was no general, no hero, just an astronaut. And yet the ship looked to him as its chosen link to humanity. It was overwhelming. He whispered to himself, "Why me?" The ship answered, not with words, but with a feeling. Because you reached out without fear. Alex closed his eyes. He remembered that first moment when he had touched the hull on the moon, when the heartbeat pulsed under his glove. He had not pulled away. He had trusted. That was why the ship had chosen him. Ryan broke the silence. If this ship is truly ours now, then we need to learn how to use it. Fast. The walls shifted again, responding to his voice. Training modules appeared, holograms of maneuvers, weapons, and controls. The ship was preparing them, molding them into its crew. Humanity's first lesson in alien war had begun. For days, the astronauts trained inside the ship while Earth watched helplessly. They learned to move the vessel with thought, to bend its weapons with instinct, to guide its systems not with buttons or levers, but with willpower. The design defied every rule of engineering, but inside, it felt natural. Like the ship had been built for humans all along. But with every lesson came more visions. Each time Alex connected to the ship, he saw more of the enemy. Their ships were vast, armored like beasts, powered by stars themselves. Their numbers were endless, their hunger unshakable. They would not stop until every world was ash. The hidden message grew darker with each vision. Humanity was not just inheriting a weapon, they were inheriting a war that never ended. A cycle of destruction passed from one civilization to the next. Now it was Earth's turn to carry the burden. On the final night of training, the ship revealed one last vision. Alex stood in a battlefield among shattered stars. He saw the enemy fleets approaching, massive and countless. But then, behind him, thousands of lights rose. Not alien, not ancient, human. Ships built by Earth, strengthened by alien design, united under one purpose. Together they pushed back the darkness. Alex's eyes filled with tears. For the first time, the visions showed hope. He turned to his crew. His voice shook, but it carried strength. This isn't just a warning, it's a call. Humanity is meant to rise. We can do this, but we must act now. The ship pulsed with light, brighter than ever before. The hidden message had been received. The choice was made. Humanity would rise or fall. The alien ship hovered above the moon like a silent guardian. Its dark hull glowed with living light, and its shape bent the stars behind it, as if space itself bowed to its presence. On Earth, billions still watched. Every television, every screen, every radio carried one truth. Humanity was no longer alone, and the galaxy was far more dangerous than anyone had ever dreamed. The astronauts sat inside the glowing chamber, their hearts pounding. They had trained for days, guided by the ship itself, learning the basics of control. But training was over. The ship was ready, and outside, the enemy markers on the star map grew closer by the hour. Commander Ryan stood tall, though fear still lingered in his eyes. This isn't just discovery anymore. This is survival. Humanity needs this ship to fight. We can't waste another second. Maya nodded, gripping her console. Then let's wake it fully. At that moment, the chamber shifted. The walls pulsed with a deep crimson light, and the air vibrated like the beating of a drum. The ship had heard them. It was ready to show its full power. Alex stepped forward to the center console, his bond with the ship stronger than ever. He placed both hands on the rippling surface, and his vision exploded with light. His body trembled as the ship poured knowledge into him, blueprints of weapons, star drive systems, energy flows that ignored every law of physics. His heart nearly stopped as he realized the truth. The ship was not just a vessel, it was a fortress. A living weapon built to defy extinction itself. The ship's voice thundered in his mind. Awaken, defend, rise. Outside, the ship began to transform. Panels shifted across its surface, revealing glowing veins of energy. Long wings of pure light, extended, stretching hundreds of meters. Cannons emerged, humming with unstoppable power. The crescent-shaped vessel unfolded into something far greater. A megaship, towering and radiant, built not just for travel, but for war. On Earth, fear turned to awe. Children cheered, soldiers saluted, scientists cried at the sight. Humanity had no idea how it worked, but they all knew one thing. This ship was theirs now. Inside, the crew watched in disbelief as the star map changed. The red enemy markers flashed brighter, moving even closer. But now, for the first time, blue symbols appeared as well. Earth's fleets, small and fragile, but linked to the alien ship as if it had accepted them as part of its design. Humanity was no longer blind. The war map belonged to them. Ryan's voice cut through the silence. This is it. The galaxy thinks we're weak. The enemy thinks we're prey. Let's show them what humans do when we're cornered. The ship roared to life. With no engines, no rockets, it lifted higher with impossible grace. Space itself bent as it broke free from the moon's pull. In seconds, it was in open space, Earth shining blue and fragile in the distance. Then came the final test. The enemy had noticed. Across the star map, one red marker separated from the rest, faster, sharper, heading straight toward the moon. It was a scout ship, massive compared to human vessels, but tiny compared to the coming fleet. The alien destroyer had come to investigate, and it was about to face something it had never seen before. The crew tightened their grips. Alex felt the ship's power surge through his veins. It's here, he whispered. On the far side of the Earth, telescopes captured the moment. A black-spined ship emerged from the void, glowing with sickly red light. Its surface writhed like it was alive, and its weapons pointed directly at the alien megaship. The first shot came. A beam of red fire lanced through the void, hot enough to pierce a planet's crust. Humanity gasped as it streaked toward the moon, but before it could strike, the alien megaship responded. Shields of light unfolded, shimmering like liquid glass. The beam struck and shattered harmlessly against the glowing barrier. The crew's eyes widened. The ship had protected them without command. It was alive. Ryan shouted, "Return fire!" Alex didn't move his hands. He didn't need to. The ship already knew. Its wings of light glowed brighter, charging with cosmic energy. A single blast erupted, white and blinding, cutting through the void like the wrath of gods. The enemy destroyer tried to dodge, but it was too slow. The beam struck, and in an instant the alien vessel disintegrated into glowing dust. Earth cheered. Across the planet, people screamed with joy, cried with relief, and realized what had just happened. For the first time in history, humanity had defeated an alien enemy. But the celebration was short. The red markers on the star map multiplied. The enemy fleet had noticed the loss of its scout. They were coming faster now, drawn to Earth like predators to prey. Humanity had won a battle, but the war was only beginning. Maya's voice trembled, yet carried strength. This ship saved us, but it won't be enough alone. We need more. We need Earth to rise with us.